We missed one. We done goofed. Actually, we didn't goof, and it's what I want to talk about today. So we know we missed one, and that's okay.
Mm.
But what what we have to do when we miss one is we have to make a new rule. And I think before we start the timer, for politeness, we should greet each other.
That's a great rule because we don't always do that.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I should go, "Hi, Andrew,"
Hello, Brandon.
and then we can start that timer. That's actually how we'll know to start the timer. That's
All right.
instead of that's our catchphphrase. It's "Hi,
That's our
Brandon,"
catchphrase.
and we can say greetings or whatever. But I go, "Hi, Brandon."
Hello, Andrew. Oh, no, you
Shoot,
said Brandon.
it's harder than you think.
Yeah.
Hi, Andrew.
You said Brandon, and then
I know.
I confused also.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Brandon.
Let's start that timer.
Boom.
So, okay. So the thing is it moving?
Wait.
I'm moving it.
Okay. All right. Take two. All right. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Wait. Oh my. What the?
That's 15 minutes. There we go. There
Oh,
we go.
there. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
we
Okay.
get it. We got it.
I thought. Yeah.
Got
I
it.
thought it was like 15
Quality
hours for a
content.
second.
Why
Okay.
so I actually want to come talk about why we missed
Okay.
last week. I think that's interesting. Because we've been talking about art and trying to make art, and most of I think almost all my money comes from making art, which is or like doing art things.
Mhm,
Doing mascot work, building sets, T-shirts.
mhm.
Um, and one of the things that happens, and I think literally this happened to you too, and one of the problems I think we face being working artists and being piecemeal artists, like if you're like I'm the best painter, this might not be the same problem that other folk have, or if you're very specific, which is dope and good for you. But one of the problems with the term burnout, in my opinion, is it's a wider experience than than just I'm burnt out. But like, okay, cool, but what does that mean? And I think both of us were really teetering on it, and I still kind of am
Mm.
personally. And like, one of the problems is like you feel like you can't say no to stuff, especially money stuff. And
Yeah.
like, I'll give you an example. Last week, I was supposed to do a show in Baltimore, come home, do another show in Baltimore, and then do a show in Aberdeen, and then do a show in Philadelphia. The show in Philadelphia got canceled, and I
Mhm,
should have been like, "No, I've been setting this up," and all I felt was relief.
mhm.
All I felt was like, "Oh, thank God!" And then you called me up, and you were like, "Hey, I got to get out of it. I got to get out of this, working this week." And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was ready to be like, "Okay, cool. We'll record at like 7 a.m. and then I'll drive." And
Yeah.
then also, if you're a working artist, one of the things they don't tell you about is you're going to spend so much time just driving. Like you just
Oh God. Yeah.
like it is honestly. I feel like if you want to like get into theater, art, anything, you should have like another driver's test. Like you have to take another
Yeah.
one. You'd be like,
Or
okay,
like I felt like you maybe should be required to get like the what is it the CDL like driver's license or something
yeah,
or
a commercial.
commercial license. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Like
mime, so I need a commercial license.
right. Exactly. I mean
But
because we're driving as much as truckers. It's like
it's and like especially with gas and like if you
yeah.
have any like want to do a tour, which I've done some
Mhm.
some light touring, is like you're just behind the wheel for hours and hours
Yeah.
and hours, and like that's almost your downtime, except for the fact that it's absolutely not.
Right.
And like it's funny because I was thinking about talking about this with you, and I a lot of times we try to come with our sage like answers,
Mhm.
being in our late to mid 30s. Andrew, just go with it. And
Notice I didn't say anything. Yeah.
yeah, I know. I was gonna let it roll. But like I don't have an answer. I don't know what to do, and like
Yeah.
it's a hard. It's maybe what I should bring up to my shrink more than you. But I know you deal with it too. I know
Yeah.
everyone who makes art, it's constant feast or famine, and like when it's
Yeah.
feast, it's the same amount of like panic of just like I'll be honest. I got a tech week. I got to make 40 short shirts. I have a show coming up. The one that got it actually didn't get canceled, got postponed. We got to record these. I got to do this, that, and the other. And like, I don't know how to fix it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, and I think the issue, at least for me, and maybe you feel kind of the same way, is that like it's the reason you don't want to say no to something is because you're afraid, or I'm afraid, like that opportunity is not going to come again.
Hmm.
And also it's also some of the stuff that we've talked about before in this podcast, where it's like, you want to be reliable, you want to be someone that people can count on, and that kind of thing. Um, and so I think that feeds into it as well, because like you know that, that there are a lot of people who are sort of vying for these opportunities, and you want to be the person who can be counted on, with all of that. Um, and so it's it's tough. I mean, I don't think, I'm not sure. I definitely don't have a good answer, but I'm just trying to sort of think through like some of, like when I like last week, um, when I was like, hey, can we just, I think it's interesting that we were kind of, I'm actually kind of really, I'm relieved that both of us were in the same place, because, that takes some, because honestly, I felt guilty, like,
Yeah, I understand.
kind of,
Me too.
kind of canceling it, and that what you were talking about with like the relief of, the show being postponed or canceled, it's like, it's that I think that relief comes because you don't want to be the one to say no, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and like if it goes on, like if it wasn't canceled, you would have been there, right? And like you definitely would have done it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so this is some unexpected downtime that finally I get a little breathing room, with it. Um, and you're right, like the other with the feast and famine thing, I think that it's uh when when you don't have that busyness, then a lot of times the other panic sets in, is like, oh crap, is there ever going to be another opportunity,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just I think it's a weird thing, and it's not, um there should be a good solution for it, but I don't know that I'm not sure if there is, or it, I don't know. It's like there should be a good solution, I guess the solution is like to have a balanced life, and you know not get in the arts, but I mean, but that's where that compulsion comes in, of like, it's many people, when I was going into, or when I was in high school, like I remember several people saying like, don't go into the arts unless you have to. And at that time, I didn't really know what they meant by that. But this is what they mean. It's like, it's like this compulsion. I mean, like, and it's not so much like that, don't go into the arts unless you have to. It's like, it's not so much a choice, really. Like, it's like the choice is kind of made for you based on who you are, because like if you get, um like for me, I mean, I can't really imagine myself doing, I mean, I can imagine, but like when it comes down to it, like this is my life, and this is what I want, yeah.
When I say I want to do the arts, is because I have no real skills
Yeah.
other than doing this. I was thinking, so I yesterday, uh, I had to go and I sold some shirts to buy some ink to make some more shirts. That's where I was at, right?
Mhm.
And this is a side hustle, but now it's a side hustle that's making money, and I'm already like, oh no, it's
Mhm.
making money now. It's a responsibility. Um, but it was funny because like I just wasn't feeling it yesterday. That's the honest truth. I wasn't. It was my day
Yeah.
off. I didn't want to. And like one of the things that's hard, what's nice about not doing art for a living, if you just do it for fun, probably this, because we can call out of this. This is our fun time. Which,
Yeah.
oh no, what if we monetize? But the thing about it is like you have to, when you wake up and you go to whatever your studio is, you have to be inspired even when you're not inspired. And I know that's
Mhm.
something we've talked about a lot, but I think like working in art is doing the job even when you don't want to do the job.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, and it's a hard thing to explain to people, especially like the well can't run dry. You have
Mhm.
to, if you don't want to do this today, you got to do that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
it's
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, you go. I think it's something worth talking about.
Yeah. Well, and something else that just came to mind is that I don't. It's not all the idea of, not wanting to do something. At least, well, I don't know. I'm trying to say this, and I want to make sure that I'm being honest about it, because I'm trying to think through like the last what. So the idea of like wanting to doing something even when you don't want to do it, it's not equal across like all the board, the entire spectrum of like, the arts that we live,
Mm,
like there are certain things that, at least at this moment in time, um like like I just want to do all the time. Like even this, like the only reason that I canceled really was because I don't uh I felt like it was, it's the thing that's not making money, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and so that's really the only reason that I canceled. It's not because I didn't want to do it, it's
Yeah,
because like this is like you're like you said, like this is really fun time. I always like enjoy like our conversations and like, it's not something that I expect to make money, it's something that I think helps the art that we're making together,
absolutely, I agree.
like so that's why I always want to do it, and then like yesterday with the acoustic group that I've talked about, a few
Mhm,
times, it's like I I at least again at this moment in time, like I always want to do it, it's like
mhm, yeah.
it's always something I want to do. But there's other aspects that I think are part of a life in music and a life in art that are just required that you don't necessarily want to do.
Hmm.
um, and I'm not sure I want to say any of those things out loud right now,
Yeah,
but
I totally understand that because you and like, well, it's also like it is one of those things. Like once I got started, I'm there. I'm doing it. I'm in the
yeah,
studio. I'm pulling shirts. I'm digitally opening stuff. But there are, I mean, sometimes you don't want to get out of bed and like,
mhm, yeah,
and you, it's a fight. It can be a fight even for the stuff I like. Like I
mhm,
remember it's funny because the last one we did, I was just getting over COVID, and I remember being like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then the
mhm,
light turns on. You have to be right there, and
yeah,
like it's one of the things about costume character work, which I think is interesting, and it taught me a lot. Everyone in a costume character work is making this face all the time and they're just muttering under their breath, "Take the pictures, just take." If you ever want to help everybody at Disney, just have your phone locked. Or anytime you have somebody in a suit and you
yeah,
want to take a picture with them, they are so excited to take that picture with you. They love it. The
mhm,
second that you start going, "No, wait,
yeah,
wait, just get, I can," like that joy of them taking a picture with you has plummeted. It goes
sure,
100 to 0 every single time. If you
mhm,
and I'm sorry, it just figure it, especially if you're in a line. What were you doing? What
right,
were you doing?
exactly,
You were in
yeah,
line.
mhm,
How did you not figure this out? But one of the things I've learned in the suit is there are times for me when I'm on, right?
mhm,
When I'm like doing my little dance, doing my little costume dance,
yeah,
doing my thing, right? And then there are times when, and I think this is one of my strengths, is I'm completely disassociating. Brandon's not there. I
mhm,
have I've worked really hard to find the 7 to 8 poses I can do for your pictures, and what I'm doing is I'm quietly, because you get stopped constantly. You're like, "Hey, hey, hey," and don't get me wrong, I love this job. I love
mhm,
doing it. I wouldn't I would it's one of those weird middle places, and maybe we'll talk about this next time because I know we're running out of time, where, like, I would never do it for free. Not
yeah,
I wouldn't do it for free, but it doesn't take, like, a lot of money. Like, it's not, it could be, like, $50 and then I'm
mhm,
done. Did
right,
that record? Did you hear that record?
yeah,
So, like, I wouldn't do it for free. I need to get paid for it, but, like, it's not, it's pretty low. Um, and gas and parking because I drive so much.
mhm,
But, one of the things I learned in the suit is you hit your poses and just you do your thing as you slowly walk back because every person is stopping you and grabbing you and wanting to
yeah,
take a picture. So you're just not there anymore. And like that is a good metaphor for sometimes what I have to do in art is like you know what you do, you hit your poses and you do it. And it doesn't mean I don't love it. And it doesn't even mean I don't even necessarily hate the part where I disassociate. Um, it's just part of what you sign up for, you know what I
mhm,
mean? And, like, if you're making art, especially if you're performing, because sometimes, and we've talked about this before, you'll be the hot I feel like it's something that happens a lot in art, is, like, people are like they'll talk about the highs and lows, but most of art is just grind, and it's just kinda in the middle, like, "How's the gig?" "It was fine. Paid,
mhm,
I hit all my marks. The crowd was fine. Everybody
yeah,
was good." Did I change lives? No. Did it change my life? No. But like it got me to the next one, and the next
yeah,
one might be great. And like I got my super extra practice in, and I think there's something to be said about the boringness of working
yeah,
in an artistic field. I don't think a lot of people talk about it. Is
yeah,
it's a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but a lot of it is just kind of driving and listening to NPR, and just that's it. That's your day. Is
Yeah,
and if you're lucky, you might have somebody to drive with, but that's not always true.
yeah. Well, yeah, and I think one of the things that I actually don't like about the music business is actually part of that. Like the in a lot of cases, like the gig mentality,
Mhm,
where you just like show up and play a gig and you've never seen like these people before. Like
mhm.
that's the kind of gig that you do to make money, and it's not something that's necessarily like, well, it can be fun, but it's not necessarily fun. But it's also like, even if it is fun, it's one of those things where it could be a lot more fun if you've had like rehearsals and you've been able to, you know, actually bond with the people and stuff like that. And so that's one of the things that like that I've tried to avoid, but I seem to be getting back into more recently, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
The
So,
gunslinger days are coming back. I mean,
yeah,
boy, just and like you need to be able to do it. It's
yeah,
sometimes you show up and you say, "Give me my money, thank you," and you do the
yeah,
best, and then you skedoodle.
exactly. Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to
Yeah,
subscribe.
Yes, you should the idea of someone subscribing to a timer is very funny to me. But, you
Yeah,
should check out all our time I hope maybe the next
we
big
should make our
pause
own timer. Is actually what we should do.
yeah, the next big pause, we got a big pause 1 week, but the next week we have to wait. We'll make a timer for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's actually, we just made more work and we done goofed. We done
Oh my God. Yeah,
goofed.
we did exactly what we.
Yeah, at the
But
end,
this
we're
is
like, "Why do
why.
we have all this work? You know what would be fun?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.